Hello, and welcome to Shamrock Talk, the internet's #1 Mother-Son Celtics podcast. I'm your host, Jake Olin, here once again with my mother, Karen Olin.
Hello.
We're back. Apologies for the delays. It's been a while. We went out pretty sad, just like the Celtics did. Recording this afternoon of June 4th, game 2 of the finals today that the Celtics are not a part of. Yeah, we didn't record the whole Eastern Conference Finals. It's pretty sad. It's hard when it's every other day. You only have that one day in between to record, and I was busy. You lost your power one night. We were going to record. Yeah, we didn't even feel like recording after the first 3 games. So
3. What do you say?
It was a whole roller coaster of emotions that we couldn't find the time. Was not good.
Yeah,
we'll do better next time, and hopefully so will the Celtics. But we're a few days removed from that, almost a week removed from that experience. Actually, exactly a week, right? It was Sunday. It's last Sunday.
Yes.
Yep. So a week removed from the end of the Celtics 22-23 season. So we can start with the Heat series. We're not going to go through every game. But this is more of a, I would say, season end podcast wrap up. RIP 2022-2023. It was a fun and frustrating ride, but let's start with the Heat. What do you, anything you want to talk about Heat series specific? I don't know.
I think we had 2 good games out of 7. 2 that I thought we deserved to win.
Yeah.
And that really told the story. I think our 3-point shooting for the most part was abysmal. We relied on it all year, and when it wasn't going well,
exactly.
We didn't do well.
It was. I mean,
yeah. And I think our defense was okay. It was not outstanding. I thought the transition defense for the Miami Heat was outstanding. I really thought it was outstanding. I mean, except for the one game we blew them away, and that was just the wind was taken out of their sails.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, our transition defense, it just goes to show you how poor it was, and how many times Jason Tatum is trailing behind, or Jaylen Brown is trailing behind, and if you watch them, all 5 up the floor so quickly most of the time. Even on fast break, they had numbers down there many times. Very rarely a wide open layup for us at any point in that series. I mean, I have the 2 last games. I think that was sort of the epitome. If you have anything specific overall you want to say, or something you want to point out.
I just think it was just the definition of they're a team that's better than the sum of their parts, and we are not. And we are a bunch of talented players that just don't exactly just click all the time. And sometimes we do, and when it's great, but it just doesn't look like they just. The Heat always make the right pass. They're well coached. They're always hustling. They always are back. As you said, they're always back on defense. There's never jogging back. There's never that's the team they are, and that's
very rarely with the focus on them arguing with the officials.
Exactly.
Very rarely.
It's always us. It's always we always were the team that's complaining, always whining. It's like this is what it is. That's just hopefully this gives them.
Player for player, would you trade?
We should destroy
anybody?
them. No, we should absolutely destroy them.
But they are a team that, like you said, the well-oiled machine.
Yep.
Passing was excellent. Even as they got hurt and people were on the bench, Kyle Lowry's out, but then Martin steps up. Martin had a great series. He was there, I think.
Yes, he was excellent.
Really sealed the game 7.
Yeah,
I think he just had an outstanding game. But yeah, I think we were outcoached, outplayed. You match player for player, you're right. We are a talented team, but unfortunately did not look like it. Didn't play together like it. Didn't. Yeah.
The Heat have some kind of intel on Jaylen Brown when he can't drive on the Heat.
I think they watch film.
Correct, but they know something that other teams don't. I don't know what scout they or what what video guy they have.
He's not very creative. Who are we kidding? Jaylen Brown's not creative. He's strong.
Yeah,
He's
but the other
straight.
teams don't have the anytime he tries to drive, it's just an immediate turnover. He just loses the ball. I don't know what
Yeah.
it is that they know that other teams don't, that every time it's just a disaster.
If you can guard the Jays, our game's over, right? If you
Yeah.
can shut those two down or keep them to a certain amount of points, or get we had nothing else really. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we had the occasional Derek White had a decent game, that kind of thing. But for the most part, if the other
Mm-hmm.
team's shooting well, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically for that game, let's start with game 6, where we looked pretty decent for most of the game, and that fourth quarter was abysmal. We looked terrible.
Same as game 2. We
Protecting
just
our
choked the game the whole time.
yes,
Game 2 is the
yes,
same way.
yeah, protecting our lead, no offense whatsoever, really, right? It was totally reliant once again on one shot done. I mean, Jason Tatum, who couldn't shoot threes, took a couple of. Why are you still shooting threes? We're ahead by 10 points. You have not had a high shooting percentage. Why are you still shooting threes when we're up by 10? I don't understand, because his percentage was abysmal.
Yeah.
It's just dumb, like mentally dumb basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we took that fourth quarter right into game 7. Abysmal. It was just an abysmal game. I mean, Jason Tatum, and you could say he twisted his ankle, whatever, but he was not terrific in game 6.
No.
I
Yeah.
get they know similar to what you were saying with
Nor all series. I mean,
Jaylen Brown. Yeah, they have his number. They had both the Jays number. Defensively, they were very good on those two. Driving was difficult. Their zone and our non-creative driving up the middle into 2 to 3 people didn't work well. I mean, that's
nope.
it didn't work well. And so I think we carried fourth quarter right into the next game. No creativity,
Agreed.
very little ball movement, and shot the 3 terribly.
Yeah.
So that not much to say. I couldn't even watch the fourth quarter.
No, I didn't either.
I kind of watched.
I did. I watched. They went up at 19, and I turned it off. I was like, "Forget this. It's over."
Yeah.
Barely scored 19 points all game.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was embarrassing.
It was brutal. I mean,
little bright spots for Derek White now and again. You'd start to think, "Oh, we're gonna cut."
Yeah. Derek White was like our best player all series. Ridiculous.
Yeah, when he shot.
Yeah,
but he still didn't have that
many. Yeah, quiet at times, but
yeah, I mean, even in game, this was what game? Oh, that was game 7. That was just abysmal. I mean, we shot at 21%, and then the game before that, at 3, which again we probably shouldn't have won that game, even though we were excited and everybody was all hyped up. And then predictions again that we were going to win game 7.
Yeah.
What? Did you not see the fourth quarter? We shouldn't have won that game.
Yeah.
We got lucky. 21% we shot in 3.
Yeah.
In game 6. Yeah. So I don't know. You can make all the excuses you want of that game 7. Jason Tatum twisted his ankle.
I mean, you got crushed. Come on.
Yeah, looked fine to me running.
Was he really going to save us? Yeah, no, stop it.
Yeah, the same percentage as the game before, and he didn't twist his ankle.
Yeah, exactly.
We're similar. So
Jaylen Brown 1 for 9 from 3. I mean, yeah, we were dead in the water.
He was game 7.
He was terrible. He was so bad.
I can't. 8 turnovers.
So 8. Bad.
Yeah. They were sitting. They kept flashing to that picture of them sitting at the end of the game on the bench, heads in there. Just what happened?
Brutal.
On the positive note, I will say, hey, they extended our season. We were down to the final 4 teams in all the NBA. So it isn't like it's an abysmal year or it was a bad
just
year.
Frustrating. Everything kind of set up for you to go back, and you just
it's a hard way to go.
Shoot yourself in the foot over and over again, even in like the Philly series.
0-3.
Even that's it just like we won the Philly series, but it's the same thing. It's like shooting yourself in the foot over and over and over again. Even Atlanta, it's like dropping dumb games for no reason, and just like you're so talented, and you just continuously have to make things hard on yourself every single time.
Yeah, and so that's a question. What do you change next year?
Doesn't sound like they're going to change anything.
you got to change if you want a championship. With all those pieces and you want a championship, something, and I'm not even saying player wise, how you play has to change.
Mhm.
We go into next year, we'll win our fair share of games, but we go into next year playing the exact same basketball that we just played, the
Mhm.
same offense. How are we not going to get shut down in the playoffs again? We are, right?
I
Because the
mean,
Heat's not even the best team. You watched them
yeah.
the game one. Did you watch the game? Did you watch game one?
Did I watch?
Nuggets.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't watch. Yeah,
Their defense, the Nuggets defense, outstanding. Outstanding.
they're very
Like,
good.
oh
Game
my
two
goodness.
tonight.
I mean, an offense is great. You know they're a great offensive team, but their athleticism
Mhm.
is really, I think, what hit the Heat. Their athleticism on defense, they very few open shots. Very few. Um, yeah, I just thought their defense was terrific in the first game. And in the end, right? That isn't that what it's about on a bad shooting night. I can't remember if Jalen Brown, maybe it was Brogdon was talking about. It's really all about defense. There are going to be nights that you have a terrible shooting night, and only teams with a good defense are going to keep it going, right?
Mhm.
Um, so I don't know, but I watched that game and I was just like, both of those teams, even in the blowout, they had all five players, the Heat did, on transition defense every single time
Yeah.
down that court, hustle every single time.
Mhm.
It just makes you realize our lack of hustle and
Yeah.
what we need to do. So it's not just offense, it's defense. And I'm thinking, what's going to change? If you don't change, coach stays the same
Yep.
pieces, you need to change. You got to.
So I guess I just looked it up. The argument against that would be, again, they're still very young. I just looked it up. LeBron, first championship, he was 27. Neither of the Jays are 27. Jordan's 28. These
Yeah,
guys had frustrations and seasons where they lost
yeah,
like
yeah. But
pre-winning it all.
yeah, let's go back to last year. And we said the same thing. I just don't think the Jays play together. They're ISO players that very rarely feed each other, very rarely.
Agreed. They play. Yes, agreed. I agree.
They're just not in sync in some ways. And it's not about not getting along personality wise. Everybody seems pretty
Yeah.
cohesive on the
Yep.
Celtics and they personalities get along. But if you can't pass and you're on the floor together 40 minutes or, I don't know, just to me. And again, you're right. Jason Tatum's he was much better this season trying to pass out of that double team. And
Yeah.
that was going to happen. He's going to be double teamed in those major games. Every single time he is going to be double teamed. The best player is going to be on him. It's going to be hard for him to score.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as hard to score when other people are stepping up. He's making fantastic passes to other people who are wide open and contributing. That's how he gets opened up. So I think for both those players, they've got to be better about that, right? They both have to be better passers. When they draw, they've got to be better passers. And we need off the ball movement. You
Agreed.
watch it sometimes and
Correct.
it's like
We just stand there. It's the most frustrating thing. Just standing there.
Well, he
drives me. Nothing drives me crazy.
Nobody's moving.
Correct.
And
Drives
I
me
can't tell
crazy.
and I can't tell if that's the play was drawn up and we know Jason Tatum's going to go in because that's what he does.
Yeah.
Is that in the player's mind?
Uh-huh.
Does the coach not say anything? Like, I don't understand. When you have 2 and 3 and he's looking eventually to dish out at different times, nobody's open.
You got to move.
How does that happen? Yeah. How did that happen? So yes, offensively, I think they've really got to, and you got to question some of our athleticism. Again, I watched some of these guys on the Nuggets and how quick and fast they are. And let's face it, Marcus Smart is not fast anymore. He's just not. He's not as fast as he was.
No.
I think his age and his physical, who knows, maybe he was super hurt by the end of the season, but he's just not that dynamic player that he, seemed to be in the past. But defensive, if you were to pick one of our 5 to put on somebody like a Jimmy Butler, I think it's really hard to pick who you're gonna, I know Jalen Brown stepped up, but I don't think he was that good.
No, especially down the stretch. Yeah.
So, who are you putting on? Somebody who's athletic enough, like a Martin for them, who comes in and
we did really lose our defensive identity, I think, a little this year. And
agree.
I don't know why that happened, but yeah.
I think we started off with a bang, right?
Yeah.
Predicted to be the champions, especially after the Warriors,
Mm-hmm.
And our 3-point shooting percentage was out of this world in the first
Yeah.
half, right, of the year.
Yeah.
That was going to be
maybe
had
we
all
just
these sharpshooters, the bench is deep.
yeah.
First of all, we didn't play like the bench was deep in
No.
any of the playoffs either. We didn't. Our bench was not deep.
Nope.
So that might be the answer. I don't know. Start, trading some of those players for a deeper bench, because if you don't play them that many minutes, then your bench is not deep in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I
doesn't
think
really
they had
matter.
pieces.
Yeah.
They were hurt, and they had pieces coming off the bench. The Heat did, right?
The
Duncan
Heat just do
Robinson.
that. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's a coaching thing. It's a system thing for them. It's not the players. It's just what they do.
Creating
Heat
a
culture,
bench.
as they would say.
Yep.
It is. It's just
He cultivates confident people that can come off the bench
100%.
in playoff games when
Yeah.
you've got Tyler Hero who can't play. You've got Kyle Lowry who has a knee issue.
Duncan
He came in
Robinson
as a
was
role
like
player.
dead in the water, not playing for like a year and a half, and then he looks.
Look at him.
He just comes right back in and makes a positive impact. I mean, yeah. I mean, you just have to look at them.
The opposite of Ben Simmons, right? Starter.
Yeah.
He was a starter being paid all this money, didn't really live up to the hype. Someone else steps in, he gets hurt, he comes back, and he's still got a great attitude. Heat culture.
Yep.
And he did make a difference. Cutting off the ball.
He was unbelievable. Yeah. He was really good.
Like, it wasn't even his 3 points. It was like his passing, his cutting behind, Yeah.
I mean, I would look at that I would just, I don't know, all off season, be like, what do they do? Why can they do that? If you're
yes. And they deserved the
look at Jimmy Butler. I mean, literally go to Jalen and Jason, be like, look what he does. Look how they foster things around him. It's not, it's not the talent, it's the leadership, the instilling confidence in your teammates, telling them what to do. The leadership, I think, is another thing that's really lacking. Those guys don't instill that in their teammates. They just don't.
Yeah. Agreed. 100%. But then again, in the coaching, I don't think Missoula instilled that in people. I don't.
Coaching's a little you can't. It's hard as a coach, I think, unless you're like unless you're a very kind of renowned character, like a Popovich or like a Phil Jackson. Those guys, when you have that pedigree, you can kind of do that with your players. But if you're a young coach, it's hard to get that. It's hard to instill that. It really, I think, does have to come from, at least, even if the coach. So you have to have your best player, even if it is the coach, you have to have your best players buy in and also participate, because if they don't buy in, then the rest of the players aren't going to buy in. Yes. So I really think it starts with the Jays.
And it's about your stats, not being concerned with your stats. And I think they did a better job actually in the playoffs at times than they did in the regular seasons, as far as they didn't seem to care about stats as much. But you know what? You don't have 30-something points a game. You can't care if you want to be champions. Whoever is open, whoever you need to get to the ball to is who you got to get the ball to. Yeah, that's just the way it is. You don't carry everything on.
Or how about just getting back on defense? Like,
be the first.
Yeah.
Be the first back on defense. When you shoot a 3-point shot that misses, how are you
the last
not
back.
the first one back on defense? What?
Drives me crazy.
You just missed. You were the furthest one out, and you're still one of the last ones back. So yeah. Yes, that hustle, that really wanted it, and you didn't see any of it in Game 7. Really didn't.
No.
Almost like they didn't want to win at times, or didn't care.
No energy. It was like no Game 7 energy at all from the start.
Yeah, and in the beginning they weren't. I mean, it was like a 10-point game for a lot of the way there for a while. It's not like it was a blowout right away.
No, Celtics were up right away. Crowd was hyped, and then just everything just wouldn't fall, and it was over from then on.
You just kind of felt that will and that fight disappearing a little too early for my liking in the game.
Agreed. Well, off-season questions. We got a few. As I said, it sounds like we're going to be about the same team next year, at least the core pieces.
I am glad they're giving Missoula another year.
So Missoula, I guess that's first one on the list. Missoula's back. I'm a little pissed that the Spurs won the lottery and are getting Wembanyama.
Yeah.
Because the only way that I would want Missoula gone was if we could get like a Popovich. Make a big change, get a guy like that in here who can really kind of shift up the culture.
Who has nothing to lose and says, pass better out of that
Yeah,
triple team
exactly.
Tatum.
He's like, here's
That
my
sucks. That
5
pass
rings.
sucks.
You guys have nothing.
Yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
like that's a guy who would, I think,
Yeah,
instill
yeah,
like not he would instill respect from
yeah,
those guys
yeah.
as like a legendary coach who's won 5
Let's
championships
sit
and
down and just look at your
isn't gonna,
highlights
yeah,
or
yeah,
lowlights, and let's talk
exactly.
about how you can be
A guy that
better
can really
as a
light a
team.
fire.
Because
That's what
right
I want.
now,
But now that he won the Wembanyama sweepstakes and he's going to be there next year, I doubt he'll
and I'm
leave. But
always, yeah, yeah. And I'm always, it's so funny, Webanyana, whatever. It's always
Wembanyama,
funny to hear those. I mean, look at Zion.
yeah, but Zion's really
Where,
good.
yeah, but how many seasons has he been in the league now? And how many has he played? Even, I mean, how
Sure,
many games? So every year, yes, he's really good, but he can't stay healthy.
of course,
Kind of
yeah. But
interesting. Yeah,
that's
this is his third year, right? His third year.
probably 4th next
Yeah.
year. Yeah,
So it's always those people that you're always really skeptical about. They're talking about Jokic in his first couple years and what number draft he was, and like,
yeah.
look at him now.
Agreed. They're. I mean, scouts at this point are pretty good at the top guys. You haven't seen
Yeah,
too many top guys that haven't really panned out. I think he's going to be pretty good.
it'll
But
be
I mean,
interesting.
injuries are always a concern. It's hard to predict
Yeah.
that stuff. But
Mhm.
yeah, we'll see.
But Missoula, I
But
do worry, and I'll tell you now.
I mean,
I think he's
there'll be a
I
lot
think
of
he's
eyes
got
on him
one more
next year.
year.
Oh, of course, he's
Yep,
got one
he's
more
got
year. He's got,
1 year.
yes, he's got maybe a
So
half year if
if
things don't
I'm
go
him,
well.
dig deep and
What
you
do you got to
stroke those
lose?
egos. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
stroke those
don't
egos
stroke
a
the
little bit.
egos.
Well, no,
Don't.
a little bit. You
What do you
figure
got to
that out, but
lose?
then you
Come
start
on,
to say,
let's go,
you
people.
start your own. Yeah, yeah. You
Yes,
start your own culture at this point, because if
you
he
have
doesn't,
to.
he'll be gone.
Yes, agreed.
So you do have to, yeah, instill some of that of your own culture and your own beliefs, and not say, yeah.
Big question number
Um,
2,
yeah,
Jalen. That's going to be the big talk.
yeah. And
Is he going to sign the extension?
I
Does he
feel sad.
sign?
Yeah, I feel sad for
Are we
him right now, because that's a tough way. He was good all season.
Yes.
And there were
He's
times when he
great.
was more steady than Jason
100%.
Tatum.
Yeah.
So I feel bad that that's how the season ended.
Ended. Yeah. Just a sour
And
note. And the questions are coming.
and
Yeah.
that was not his. You're right. They had his number. They knew where he was going. They
Mm-hmm.
and that's not hard. Like I said, he's not a creative player. He's a strong player. He's a good player, but he's not creative. So I feel sad with what's in the news and talking trade and all of that. I mean, part of me thinks, does he want to stay here? Like, do you want to see those headlines over and over again, or do you want to go to a new team that with new headlines? I honestly feel for him.
Yeah.
And he's never really been treated with the respect. And now, I mean, he had a great year. He had a great
Agreed.
season
He's
with
all
us this
NBA
year.
second team, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and it ended poorly in the and it wasn't just him, right?
No, definitely wasn't just him. Come on.
Unfortunately, he's the name in the headline.
Yeah.
But Jason Tatum seems to get off a little, doesn't he? At times, for some reason, I don't know.
Agreed. He does
He
escape
never
some
gets
criticism.
He does
Yeah.
escape. And granted, you can, even when he's criticized, it's in a different light. It's not ever he's leaving the Celtics or he needs to be traded. He's never in
He's
trade
like the
talks. He's
guy.
never.
He's just the
Yes.
guy. It
Yes.
is.
Yes. So I think
There's
that's
a clear 1-2 dynamic, which I could see Jalen. I don't know.
Which is fine, but I do think that Jaylen Brown deserves a little more respect than what the headlines are saying.
Agreed,
at this
100%.
point. And do you want to lose that piece? I'd be a little sad to see him go.
In my opinion,
I have
no.
to say.
Do not.
I
mean,
agree.
well, you're not gonna just let him leave. That's
Yeah.
for sure. You're either trading him or
Yes.
it would be a disaster to let him walk. I mean, that's a disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, you offer him the extension.
Yeah.
Almost as no, you could say, oh, well, you're gonna pay, $500 million, whatever crazy number it is for just 2 players and blah blah. But he's gonna be in demand even with that contract as long as he's playing like this. So if you figure out down the road that this isn't working, you can still trade him. There's no
Agreed.
sign
So
him
make
now.
him happy.
Just get him
make
locked
him
down.
feel
Exactly.
respected. So
Correct.
next year is a good year.
And then down the road, have that conversation. It's not working out. Then you can still. Yeah. My only concern with him is he relies so much on his athleticism. It's just one disastrous injury away from being a real mess. It's the one thing that really scares me with him. Just one blown knee and you're in real trouble. And then you have a huge contract that no one wants to take because his knee's bum. And that's the
and
one.
The way
but I mean,
both of those players, same with Jason Tatum, the way they both play almost every game. How many minutes a game? Like,
exactly.
I mean, I think you're.
But I mean, that's just luck of the draw. Not much you can, do there.
But I agree. I say give him the extension and make him feel good so we have a good year next year. That I think is the biggest.
100%.
You do not want in his head that he is unhappy in Boston. You just don't. You want to feed his ego. You want to pump him up, and you want to figure out how to make next year work. I think
100%.
I agree.
I agree.
And I think if you waver, like I said, you got to get rid of these headlines. His team should be supporting him.
And I think behind the scenes they are. I think from all I've read, I think it's more of a media and just talk thing than a real thing.
And that's an easy thing you can change, right? Now Missoula is staying, which he should. I think he should be given another year. I don't have
any issue with that.
But I think he should be given a chance. I think that's the fair thing.
I think he made good adjustments and improved, especially in the playoffs, his coaching. And I think he's young and he'll learn. I don't have a problem with him.
So yes, I say give him the extension, pump him up, and let's go for it next year. And then if they don't win, or they go out this way, or they go out early,
we'll see what happens next year. You can make talks again.
You do something different, whether it's coach, Jalen.
You just never know. Yeah. All right, the details. Grant Williams, we've talked about it all year. If I had to guess, he'll not be in Boston next year, but who knows? I mean,
which is kind of sad because I think that was a weird way for the whole thing to go out. I think that was one of the mistakes, the coaching mistakes, the team mistakes. I think him getting out of the lineup in a regular, I think that is what the Heat did well with their bench players. Even when you watch, he put people in, and even if he put them in, and if they weren't playing well, he might have taken out a minute or two early, or he might have replaced them. But he kept that rotation going.
Yes, he kept he has just a way to keep the confidence and the agreed, 100%.
Martin was not playing well. He started in the Nuggets game, and he did not shoot well. And he played less minutes. They changed the rotation, and he wasn't in, similar to what he was in our game. But that doesn't mean that you have taken his confidence away, right? That just fuels him to play better. Hey, we gave you a chance. We put you in. I think that the wind was taken out of Grant's sails too early in the season, near playoffs. I don't care that Rob Williams came back. You still keep a piece that had been playing pretty solidly for you for 2 years now, 3 years. I mean, he's a solid piece on our bench. If he's not 100%. A solid piece on our bench, we're in trouble. Right? Like that is
100%
a solid piece on our bench. And I don't think we did a good job with him. So I feel sad, and I think you're right. I think they might try something else, but I don't think that was the right way to go. And I think he could have been a better part. I think he plays good defense. I think he could have been a much more solid offensive player for us every once in a while. He could have been a really good role piece for us.
Agreed.
And I think that we blew that. I think whatever happened, and maybe it's his mouth, maybe it's his attitude, maybe it's arguing with officials, maybe there's something happened that mentally he wasn't a good piece for our
Agreed.
And that's what happened.
Maybe there was contract talks and they didn't go well, and that affected his attitude. You never know what happened behind the scenes. But
I think as far as playing and what they did before the playoffs was dumb.
Agreed.
They took his confidence away.
So we'll see. I mean, maybe he comes back. I mean, this is all just speculation, but
all those headlines
don't think that's
about him and all the speculation. I just don't think that was right before the playoffs. I think he should have been a stronger piece for us, and he wasn't. Because I like Rob Williams, but he's a role player. He's not a starter on the offensive.
I mean, he could be a starter. He's just not a star. He's just a guy that.
He did better not jumping though. Did you notice?
He's improving. He could be a real piece if he can just get it to.
He did a great job on Jimmy Butler not going up, and
they
worked on that.
He's going to be our starting center. I mean, he can play.
He's got a lot of improvement to play a majority of the minutes against most teams because he's defensively a liability at times. But I agree. I did notice that. No jumping for Rob Williams.
Yes, they've instilled that in him.
How Rob, you don't need to jump.
He blocked Jimmy Butler had a hard time against him over and over again.
Yes.
He played well.
Well, he's not a creative person either. he when he creates offense, it's a very stable. That's what I said about guarding him, like why he had so many points. Other than strength, he reminds me a little bit of Jaylen Brown. He's a solid player that does that old school turnaround jump shot. You know, he has some very stable plays, but he's not super creative. It's not like they move off the ball and he passes out. They move
100%.
away, and that's their
Yep.
offense. But anyway, keep going.
Next rumor I saw that could be interesting, as I saw Pritchard might be wanting out.
He totally wants out. Wouldn't you want out?
100%. I don't blame
Here you
him.
have somebody that could be a solid part of another team, not a starter on a good team. He can't. I mean, he's too short for that.
Yeah.
But he's somebody
he can play minutes on some teams in the NBA. 100%.
We groomed Hauser and Pritchard for certain things, and then they, again, as we got near the playoffs, they were taken off. You know, nothing. There was nothing. Who are you grooming for next year? Who are you getting ready to be that deep, solid bench? And those two were named time after time, and then nothing. Zero.
Yeah, Pritchard's
really
tough. I mean, you just have three great guards, and there's just not a lot of minutes for him. It just is what it is. Who are you taking out? Is the thing with him.
3 to 5 minutes every game on Trae Young should have been.
Sure. But I think the point for him is he wants more than that. That just doesn't him getting 3 to 5 minutes on Trae Young was not going to change his opinion on him wanting out. He wants more than that, and I think that's fair to him. I mean, I think
his defense on a shorter guard is way better than Brogdon's. I just don't think Brogdon's a great defender. I just don't. He's slow. That's his problem.
He's just it just is what he's the fourth guard on the team, and he wants to be the second or third guard on the team. And I agree. There's no way, but there's no way around it.
Because D White is so good now. I mean,
we got Brogdon, and Smart's still a guy. And what are you gonna do? I mean,
we rarely play even as a point guard team. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. We don't
Who are point guards?
Jason Tatum. Yeah. God, goodness.
Dribbling up to his shoulders. Come and get me, double, triple team. I'm dribbling up to my eyeballs. So we really don't play as a team that needs a point guard. So yes, I say let him go.
Yes, 100%.
Right? You're not going to use him. You're not going to. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just is where it's. I'll be sad.
Give him an opportunity.
I understand it from his point of view. I understand it from the Celtics' point of view. There's really nothing. There's nothing really to.
Yeah, I agree.
Nothing you can do.
An opportunity.
What are you gonna do?
Somewhere else.
I don't know. It's as much as it'll suck, and he's a fan favorite. I mean, he's a good player, and he'll get. I mean, he's not gonna play minutes for it. Like, he'll play minutes for like a team that's not as good as us, and that's just is like. Sorry.
Well, once again, though, if we were a team that didn't need to play Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum almost 40 minutes a game at times, we would be right. It would be a different team because you'd have, if you got low 30s, you got 7.
But even then, I feel like those minutes just go to Hauser. Like you like.
Yes, which I'd rather see
Hauser
problem with
play.
My problem with him is even when we brought him in, we didn't set him up for any shots. Even when he came in.
Agree. I mean, same with Pritchard.
It's like you
put him in and do
you're not giving them, and they're wide open. That's the worst part for me. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum still being doubled and triple teamed.
Mm-hmm.
You got got Pritchard wide open several times when he did come into a game, and you're not feeding him. Like
nothing.
Why bother? Why bother?
Yep.
Yeah. So we don't use them correctly anyway a lot of the time. Yeah. So I agree. I think Pritchard should have the opportunity to go. And how long's Brogdon's? He was a little bit of a letdown. I know he was hurt, but
he was hurt. I mean, he was a disaster. I mean, he was he had to be hurt because he just he took. I think it was Game 7 where he just took that air ball, like disaster shot, and he didn't play again. I don't think. He was just hurt. He tried to come back, and I just think he just didn't have it. I don't know.
Yeah,
that was brutal.
Yeah, that's a big loss.
Huge loss. That was a big part of the game, I would say.
Because typically when it's going wrong, he can come in and give us a little bit, and just couldn't.
Yes, no, he had nothing.
That was yes. So Pritchard goes. What else? Anything?
That's kind of it. I think we have. Let's see. Let's check this. Let's check sports track. Let's see who we got. Um, just checking this multi-year summary. Mm, yeah, everyone's under contract. We could get Gallinari back, which could be interesting.
Yeah.
30. We
There
could
was
get a
speculation, will he
36-year-old
play in the finals?
Gallinari.
I'm like, what? He's better at this point. You're not bringing him in.
Gallinari.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he'll play next year. Who knows?
They just completely disappeared. You're telling me like Mike Muscala? What happened there? Another 3-point shooter that we didn't put in when we were abysmal at 3-point. You can't work a way to keep him 5 minutes just for the 3-point shooting. Like I some of their choices, some of the way we played, I don't understand. I really don't understand. Especially last game. I mean, Jason Tatum took 13 total shots.
Mhm.
Like what? Yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting to me that some of the people that sort of just fell into nowhere.
Yeah.
Blake Griffin gone.
Mhm.
Like you're not putting him into the rotation when.
So Blake Griffin is a free agent. So
yeah, he'll go. Once you want to play
maybe
somewhere,
he might come back. I don't know.
Yeah.
Does
I don't know.
he really though? I think he was fine. I think he liked the bend. I think he kind of liked his role. I think he's over the hump and he realized that, and he's not trying to.
Yeah. But again, why not a few minutes? Like I don't know. I just, for me, some of these games, try something different.
Yeah.
Because what we were doing did not work. And figure out that rotation. Learn something from Spoelstra. Learn something
Agreed.
about the way he coaches
100%.
and about how they're run.
Yes.
And use that. Use that.
100%.
Create who's going to be in your rotation. There's always an opportunity for a bench player to kind of step up if you prove. Like create that, foster that confidence.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think they were very well coached, very well run team.
Yep.
I mean, Tyler Hero out. And you get this
doesn't even
far?
matter. Yeah.
He
crazy.
Scored 20. His average was 20 something a game. That's gone.
It's crazy.
Right? I mean, yeah. So anyway, yeah. They are short. I am just going to point that out against the Nuggets.
Yeah.
They're short.
I mean, the Nuggets are good. I think the Nuggets will take it, but
I do too. I think they'll win.
But I thought that he would be out in the first round, so who knows?
Yeah.
And I saw.
Like I don't know if that's just smart.
I don't know if you've seen the stat too that people have been floating around that the Heat have won 3 championships and they've never won game 1 in the finals.
Oh,
they've lost every game 1. So
yeah, you never know.
Yeah,
I think their 3-point shooting has to be lights out if they want to win. There's just no way they can.
Game 7 against us that killed us, but
they had, because they think the offense for the Nuggets is so good. You've either got to be on because there's no shutting them down, really. I mean, Jokic and his passing. And if they don't double team or do something with him, he'll just he shoots. So you're just in trouble. The way they move, what he does, he's incredible. He's really fun to watch. And he doesn't care that he scores. I love that. I love the fact
he's unbelievable.
He's
so fun.
He does not need to be the scoring superstar. He doesn't.
He doesn't care. It's unbelievable.
Yes. So,
but even he doesn't care at all.
That is crazy. What the mentality for the championships needs to be.
I agree.
You need to be able to say, 100%. I don't have to score 30 for us to win.
No.
I want to make sure our team wins and I'll do what I need to do, whether it's, and again, I'm talking a little bit about the Jays, but Jason Tatum did an outstanding job rebounding. Outstanding. Like really, really well done. So, you're right. This year he made some strides in areas that he did not. But I do think offense, both of them need to figure something different out because every team, after watching those 7 games, has to have their number and know what to do. Right? I mean, they're going to keep doing it, anybody that plays them.
Yep.
So, yeah, it'll be, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to next season. I'm looking forward to the pieces coming back and seeing how they grow. And you're right, they're young for the most part. My question really is about Smart and how many more years
Yeah.
he can play the way he does
So,
at times.
so
And I think he's lost a step.
well, would you be shocked if he just comes off the bench next year?
I think
What if he's our third guy? What if it's White, Brogdon, then Smart?
I think he should at least be the second guy.
Yeah.
I and I hate to say that. I
Yeah.
think he is a role player more than he is at this point a starter. Mostly due to he is not that fast. You watch him, he's just not where he used to be. And because of his, probably physical limitations. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He had some games where his threes saved us.
Yeah. That's
Right?
what he
I mean,
does.
yeah, it's like out of the blue. It was, yeah. Then other times where he took threes and okay,
Yeah.
no more. Stop shooting. Stop shooting. Yeah. But I wouldn't mind that. I think he, potentially maybe Rob Williams does start and Smart comes off the bench.
I mean, you have to
And
play.
maybe that's what you want in your second team.
You don't know what you're getting out of Al Horford next year either.
Yeah.
He's going to be 38.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. And I think we used to run the ball through him a lot more than we do. And
he faded down the stretch. He just did.
And they don't run the ball through him anymore. He doesn't make those great passes. He's a good passer.
Yeah, but his 3-point threat just absolutely just dying really hurt because he was a good passer because you have to guard him and then he can pass and then but I mean you just could let him shoot like towards the end. It was brutal.
No, he saved us a couple times in the Sixers game with his defense though. Like his hands. Yeah, I mean he did a good job. Yeah, and he took more hits than I thought he'd take. He was very aggressive. I think he stepped up in that way. I was shocked because in regular season, obviously no hits. Or very few hits. But yeah, I thought defensively there were times when he was the difference maker in a couple of those games. Yeah. So next year I'm excited.
Yeah, it
was a fun season.
Ready to go. Yeah.
That
sucks.
Ending. But hey, game 7 at least. We didn't think we'd get that far after the 0-3 start. We thought it was over. So yeah, they did it. They came back. They tried. But I hope they watch film. I hope they figure out how to improve in those little areas and they watch other teams, right? What is our identity? Our identity, we need to tweak that.
Agreed.
The offensive
100%.
Identity and the defensive identity. We need a little speed in the defensive identity. And a little more athleticism. And I feel as though we're missing that piece of it. And I don't know if it's because, like you said, Jaylen Brown used to be our defensive specialist. He was the one that took on everybody. But now I think that's super hard when you are scoring 20-something points a game to be the defensive specialist. I don't think that always works out. So I think we need somebody who's faster than Smart. Smart as smart, but faster. And I'm not sure who that's going to be. Who is that person that takes on somebody like a Jimmy Butler? So it'll be interesting what happens next year.
Agreed.
And their zone worked. Do we go to zone now that we're not
always works? It always works against us.
Yeah.
You can always play zone against us.
Stunk.
You don't know how to pass the ball. What do you do with the zone? You pass the ball.
We can't pass.
Yeah.
Our passing is abysmal at times. Yeah.
That's how you get through a zone is you move the ball. But
All right.
Well, that's been your Celtics 22-23 and your Shamrock Talk 22-23 season. Yeah, you'll hear from us this summer as free agency starts. And, we don't have a draft pick, at least a first round pick. So,
and I think next season we should pick a night and stick to it.
Correct. Agreed. Yeah. Yep. I think that's
so
good.
That
it's
our
hard
fans, because they see people checking it out, they were missing us. Ian asked where we were and why we weren't. But there were times when there wasn't much to say that was new, right?
Agreed.
We stunk. We need to do something new. Those 0-3 games.
As I said, conference finals, it's tough and it's every other day because either. Work now, and we'll get you posting the pods next year because I gotta post them. Now we flip flopped. Now I have a job and you don't. So now I gotta get you to do some of the behind the scenes
Being
work
me
here.
is a full-time job. Being me is a full-time job.
Well, can you
Yes.
be
I'll
you
start
and
posting.
post some pods?
I would totally.
I'll write a procedure. I'll show you how to do it. We'll get it done
I'm
this summer.
gonna
It's not
post
super.
them. I'm gonna start editing the podcast.
Yeah, that's not hard. I
Yeah,
do it every
yeah,
week. It's
I'm
a little
gonna do
more.
it.
It's a little more work back here than you think, people. Posting these pods. It's not
I'm
just I
gonna
can't just
start,
press
yeah.
record and go. I gotta get the video version and the
Yeah.
audio version. So
Yeah.
I'll get better about it. But
And I
especially
think
when
I'm
the
gonna
games are every other day, it's tough. It's tough
think I'm gonna
posting and
add a little more about other teams too next year.
yeah, we'll have some meetings and we'll every year we're gonna build. We're gonna keep building. We're gonna build our Shamrock Talk empire.
Yeah.
Bit by bit, brick by brick. We got a bunch of equipment now. I got in-person podcasts we'll be doing maybe.
Yes.
We got you. We have you know how to work your own microphone now. We're getting there.
I know. Yeah. Of course, I don't have it right now.
Of course, you're still not using it, but
but I do know how to do it now.
yes, we'll get there.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep improving. I'll get Claudia to do some more logos for next year. We'll get everything going on.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
That's
well,
it. It was a good season
Let's
for
check.
us, negative as we were at times.
NBA
it was a good
calendar.
season. It was fun.
Off season calendar. Let's see.
They always make
Let's see. Draft lottery May 16th, June 1st.
August.
So July 1st is beginning of free agency.
Oh, yeah.
Let's say mid-July. We'll do a pod.
Yeah.
After once free agency hits, the Grant Williams question and anything else, I'd say that's probably when you'll hear from us next.
Yeah, that's good timing.
Yep.
Perfect timing. Yep.
Month and a half off, and we'll be back.
Yes. And watch the Nuggets Heat game.
I will, yeah.
Nuggets Heat series. Gonna be interesting
tonight.
Two very different teams in some ways, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I think the Nuggets are so good. I would be shocked if they didn't win the whole thing. But Jokic is my favorite. Nonchalant, awesome. Makes it look effortless. His passes.
He's unbelievable.
So fun to watch. So fun. Yeah, and they've got it going. They're a much better team than the beginning of this year. I think they've really figured things out. They're fun for the fans. All right.
Well, you can find us everywhere per usual. Follow us for next year at Shamrock Talk Pod on Twitter, at Shamrock Talk on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast. And that's it for 2022, 2023. We will see you next year. Go Celtics.
Go Celtics.